Before we dive into the legacy of one of the NFL's most iconic franchises, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with fellow football fans, and subscribe to the channel for more epic stories from the world of sports. Now, let's enter the black and silver universe of the Las Vegas Raiders. It all began in 1960, not in the glitz of Las Vegas or the heart of Hollywood, but in the blue-collar town of Oakland, California. The Raiders were one of 8 original teams in the American Football League, AFL, launched to challenge the NFL's supremacy. They were initially a struggling franchise, underfinanced, underperforming, and fighting for attention. But the seeds of rebellion were already planted. Everything began to change when Al Davis arrived. Hired in 1963 as head coach and general manager at the age of just 33, Davis was fiery, sharp, and had a vision of building a franchise that wouldn't follow the NFL mold, but shatter it. He introduced vertical football, a deep passing, hard-hitting style of play, and instilled a sense of pride and urgency. The Raiders adopted their iconic colors, silver and black, not by chance, but by strategy. Davis believed in intimidation. He wanted opponents to fear the uniform before they even took the field, and it worked. By the late 1960s, Al Davis wasn't just a coach, he was a force. He became the AFL commissioner and later the Raiders owner. Under his command, the Raiders began to dominate. From 1967 to 1977, the team had one of the best records in football. Davis recruited cast-offs and misfits, players other teams had given up on. But under the Raiders' wing, they thrived. George Blanda, a 40-something kicker and quarterback, Jack Tatum, the assassin safety, Ted Hendricks, the lanky linebacker. They all became household names. The philosophy was simple: toughness, loyalty, and an obsession with winning. Davis's famous quote, "Just win, baby," wasn't just a slogan, it was the DNA of the Raiders. 1976 was magic. Under coach John Madden, the Raiders went 13-1 and won Super Bowl XI, defeating the Minnesota Vikings. It was their first world championship, and it wasn't the last. In 1980, with Jim Plunkett leading the charge, the Raiders stunned the league. After barely making the playoffs, they bulldozed their way to Super Bowl XV, crushing the Eagles. Plunkett, a former #1 pick once considered a bust, became Super Bowl MVP. Then came the bold move to Los Angeles in 1982. The team's third title came just a year later, in Super Bowl XVIII with a dominant 38-9 win over Washington. Marcus Allen's dazzling 74-yard touchdown run sealed the deal and became one of the most iconic plays in NFL history. The Raiders had become legends. 3 Super Bowl titles, a global fan base, and an aura that could not be matched. The 1990s weren't kind. The Raiders returned to Oakland in 1995, but they left their success behind in LA. Coaches came and went, stumbled. Even as the NFL boomed in popularity, the Raiders felt stuck. Their aging stadium in Oakland, their inability to land elite talent, and years of mismanagement hurt their competitiveness. But the Raider mystique never disappeared. Their fan base, dubbed the Raider Nation, was as passionate as ever. Games at the Oakland Coliseum were still electric, even when wins were hard to find. In 2002, the Raiders saw a glimmer of their former selves. Led by Rich Gannon and coached by Bill Callahan, they had the league's top offense and reached Super Bowl XXXVII. Unfortunately, the game became a nightmare. Facing their former coach, John Gruden, who had been traded to Tampa Bay the previous season, the Raiders were outplayed and outcoached. They lost 48-21, and the dreams of a 4th title vanished. Gannon threw 5 interceptions, and questions about preparation and leadership loomed large. The team collapsed in the years that followed, entering what fans would come to call the lost decade. From 2003 to 2018, the Raiders endured one of the worst stretches in NFL history. They cycled through head coaches: Norv Turner, Art Shell, again, Lane Kiffin, Tom Cable, Dennis Allen, and more. Quarterbacks came and went, draft picks flopped. Perhaps the darkest moment came in 2007, when they selected Jamarcus Russell with the #1 overall pick. He became one of the biggest draft busts ever, symbolizing the Raiders' dysfunction. Yet through it all, Raider Nation remained. Black and silver-filled stadiums. Fans tailgated with pirate flags. Even as the wins disappeared, the culture did not. Mark Davis, son of Al, made the bold decision to move the franchise to Las Vegas. The team had flirted with San Antonio and LA again, but Sin City won out. In 2020, the Raiders officially became the Las Vegas Raiders. Their new stadium, Allegiant Stadium, was a $1.9 billion marvel. With a retractable field, high-tech facilities, and a spaceship-like exterior, it quickly became the NFL's crown jewel. The move was controversial. Oakland fans felt betrayed, but Vegas embraced the team wholeheartedly. The Vegas era began with hope and chaos. In 2021, head coach John Gruden resigned after offensive emails surfaced. That same season, Henry Ruggs was involved in a fatal DUI crash. Yet somehow, interim coach Rich Bisaccia led the team to the playoffs. Stars emerged: Max Crosby, the relentless pass rusher; Josh Jacobs, the bruising back; Davante Adams, the all-pro receiver traded from Green Bay. Still, inconsistency plagued the team. They missed the playoffs again in 2022 and 2023. Derek Carr, a longtime starter, was released. Jimmy Garoppolo arrived, then left. The team was rudderless. The 2024 season was rock bottom. The Raiders went 4-13, finishing last in the AFC West. Fans were fed up. Coaches were fired. The team had no clear direction, but failure sparked change. Enter Pete Carroll, the Super Bowl winning former grown Seahawks coach. Alongside him, veteran QB Geno Smith, seeking redemption. And in the front office, none other than Tom Brady, now a minority owner, helping guide the culture. Rookies like Brock Bowers, a generational tight end, and Ashton Jeanty, a hard-nosed runner, bring energy. On defense, Max Crosby returns healthy and hungry. The 2025 Raiders aren't just rebuilding, they're reborn. Through every city, coach, and quarterback, Raider Nation remains unbreakable. Their fans are loyal, loud, and legendary. Whether in the black hole in Oakland or the luxury suites in Vegas, they bring fire to every game. They don't just watch, they believe. The Raiders stand for more than just wins. They are outsiders, underdogs, and disruptors. They broke racial barriers, hiring the first Latino head coach, Tom Flores, and the first black head coach of the modern era, Art Shell. They welcomed individuality and never asked players to conform. In a league built on conformity, the Raiders chose chaos and found greatness. Today, the Raiders are on a mission, not just to win games, but to reclaim their soul. With new leadership, young talent, and the enduring spirit of the Raider Nation, the question isn't if they will return to glory, it's when. The autumn wind is once again a Raider, and the NFL better be ready. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the legacy of the Raiders, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with your fellow football warriors. Until next time, just win, baby.